It's like the forearm snap on a forehand. If you just want to get it on the table, drive forward and stop. When you want power, add the whip. Today, we're going to talk about brushing the ball. Now, let's break down the backhand technique. Many amateur players struggle with the feel for brushing the ball. But in my last clinic, I found that players get a good feel for it when they do this. Next time, try this. Place the ball under your racket and practice brushing up on it. My backhand is strong because on all my loops, I start the backswing with a closed racket face at a very low angle, only opening it after contacting and driving up through the ball. After gripping the ball with friction, I lift it using my forearm. I believe many amateurs can't brush the ball effectively because their racket face is too open during the backswing. Try closing your racket angle. Some of you might say that if you close it too much, you'll hit the edge or miss the ball completely. That's just a matter of timing. Don't be afraid, I went through the same thing when I started. If you just lift the ball with an open racket, the shot has no threat. You might as well not attack. When you decide to attack, you must attack with quality. I'm not saying to close it this much. This is an open racket. And this is a closed one. But when brushing the ball, you must maintain a more closed racket face through contact. You must contact the middle to upper part of the ball. If your racket face is too open, don't use much power. Focus on just creating a safe arc over the net. If you want to generate power, you must keep the racket face closed and ensure your contact point is more on the upper half of the ball than the center. It's a bit difficult at first, but don't you want a high-quality attack? The reason you hit the ball long when adding power is that you can't keep the racket closed over the ball, and this applies to the forehand as well. You can't keep it down because you're contacting the side of the ball more than the top. When you add power, it flies long. Amateur players often copy the final follow-through where the racket looks open, and mistakenly think the backswing should also be open, which is incorrect. Let me show you in slow motion. During my backswing, the V of my hand points forward. The racket face only opens up after contact because my forearm is driving forward. This applies to both penhold and shakehand grips. If the V of your hand points up, you won't be able to hit with power. You'll only manage a high, spinny loop, not a true offensive shot. I'm teaching how to attack a backspin ball, not a topspin ball. Use the same technique for heavy backspin, just make sure to get a deeper bite on the ball. It has little to do with opening your racket, you won't hit the net because of a closed racket face. The second key point is how you use your wrist. When you loop, do you feel two distinct external rotations? The first rotation is in the fingers and wrist. From my backswing, the first rotation happens right here. The second external rotation comes from the forearm. The backhand loop is 1 part forward drive, 2 parts rotation. The first rotation creates the initial brush. Then you drive solidly into the ball, and after contact, you use the second rotation. This is the key to a strong cross-court backhand loop. Why can't you brush with your backhand? Because you're starting your backswing here, which makes it impossible to create friction. You must bring your backswing to your left side. Here's my body's center line. My backswing must be to the left of it. This is the only way to create space for external rotation. If you start from the center and try to rotate, you'll just wipe across the ball and hit it into the net. That first brush must start from your left side. The first step feels a bit like a backhand flick. You brush from 7 o'clock to 10 o'clock on the ball. If I just hit it, there's no spin. But if I start here and go from 7 to 10 o'clock, now it has spin. To create rotation, you must have this small external rotation. My backswing is to the left of my body, allowing me to brush from 7 to 10 o'clock. Any loop, whether forehand or backhand, is completed in 2 distinct phases. The first action creates the arc to lift the ball. The second action drives it consistently forward. If you only go up, the shot will have no quality. If you only go forward, you'll hit it into the net from the spin. You must guide the motion with the head of the racket, not your hand. The 7 to 10 o'clock brush is done on the outside of my body. The second key is that you must drive forward into the ball. Watch me loop without driving forward. And now with driving forward. The difference is huge and very obvious. You must have that forward driving force. Don't be afraid of it. It's this feeling of driving into the ball to propel it forward. It's not about contacting the ball and going sideways, or only going up. If you can't loop properly, you'll just lift the ball, allowing your opponent to take the initiative. You won't be able to return a quality shot when your opponent gives you heavy spin. So remember, after the initial brush at contact, your movement must be forward, not sideways or just upwards. You must drive forward. After the brush, it's all forward momentum. Here, let me show you a powerful service return. This is the quality you're looking for. The reason you're hitting the net is that you didn't execute the first step correctly, not because you're driving forward. It's because during that first phase, the 7 to 10 o'clock brush, you didn't properly grip the ball. So when you drive forward with power, the ball doesn't have enough arc to clear the net, leading to an error. Third, your forearm must continue its external rotation. You can't just drive forward and stop, that turns it into a simple push. You have to complete the full motion. This forearm rotation acts as a second acceleration. It's a whip, like the whipping motion in a topspin rally stroke. A whip is different from a punch. This is a punch, and this is a whip. Using your elbow as a pivot, the forearm needs a second external rotation. This is what adds quality to the shot. Without that rotation, my shot looks like this. But with the rotation, I can generate more focused power. If you don't want to add power, you can just drive forward and stop. This makes the shot very consistent. But if you want to attack with power, you must add that second external rotation. This is your secondary acceleration. It's like the forearm snap on a forehand. If you just want to get it on the table, drive forward and stop. When you want power, add the whip. I believe starting your backswing slightly to the left makes it easier to brush the ball and create a good arc. Secondly, you don't need as much core rotation, so you're less likely to get jammed by a fast ball. If you start your backswing in the middle, you must use your body weight to create the racket path, which is too difficult for most amateurs. The fourth and most important point is that many of you have spent too long practicing the backhand drive. From practicing the drive for so long, you've developed a habit of pulling your forearm straight back, instead of dropping it down. When I prepare for a loop, my backswing is so low that you can't even see my racket, you only see my elbow. A parallel drop is useless. Your arm is still pulling backward, which makes you feel jammed. For all backspin balls, your racket must be lower than the ball. This is a must for amateur players. When I'm below the ball, it's easy to create an arc. The same applies to the backhand. Being under the ball is much better than being behind the ball for creating that arc. Watch, even without using my wrist, I can still lift the ball over the net. It's all about your starting position. If you start behind the ball, no matter how much power you add, the ball is likely to slip on your rubber. It's the same for the backhand loop. Look at my forearm angle. Don't go backward. You must go down first, and then up and forward. On your backswing, you should only see my elbow, not my racket. As I start my forward swing and the ball drops, my racket meets it, and we naturally generate power together. Even if I'm standing straight up, as long as my forearm drops down, I can still loop the ball successfully. But if you crouch down low but still pull your arm straight back, you'll only be able to lift the ball without any quality. Hitting and brushing are simultaneous. You drive forward and brush the ball at the moment of contact. The drive is the impact, and the brush is the friction. They happen together. You must brush into the oncoming ball. Make solid contact while brushing, and your shot will have spin. Now, let's talk about brushing. The first key point, you must cock your wrist back. If your wrist isn't cocked, your motion becomes a flick or a wipe. Second, the direction your racket head points is very important. It should point towards the top of your thigh. Many players mistakenly point it towards their own body. The position of the racket head is crucial. Get this starting position right. The second crucial point, don't just hit the ball flat. You need to brush it, to graze it. The brushing motion should be from 7 o'clock to 10 o'clock, and then the brushing phase of the stroke is over. A key detail here is that your elbow must remain stable and act as a pivot. I recommend that amateurs practice this in 2 parts. First, master the initial brushing motion and hold the finish. Then you can think about adding power. Otherwise, you'll never develop the correct feel for brushing the ball. To do this, finish your stroke a little earlier. This forces you to focus on the feeling of brushing from 7 to 10 o'clock. Once you've mastered that, you can add power in the second half of the stroke with a confident whip. Right now, you're just going through the motions without any real feel for whether the ball will go on the table, if your contact was solid, or if you even brushed the ball. Let me demonstrate. If your loop lacks speed, practice the second half of the motion. Focus on generating forward power, driving into the ball with a fast forearm snap. If you lack the feel for brushing, practice the first part of the motion. Break it down, master it, and then add the power to achieve the same result.